Marcus felt something in his chest tighten. I gave it all up, David continued. The training, the competitions, all of it. What good was being a champion when I couldn't protect the one person who mattered most? I sold our house, sold everything. I needed to start over, be present for Emma in a way I'd never been before. So you became a janitor. I became a father, David corrected gently. The janitor job, it pays the bills. The hours work with Emma's school schedule. I'm home for dinner every night. I help with her homework. I go to her soccer games. I'm there. Marcus looked at this man beside him, really looked at him for the first time. The faded polo shirt, the callous hands, the quiet dignity. You gave up everything, Marcus said. No, David replied. I gave up one thing to gain everything that mattered. There's a difference. They sat in silence for a moment. Does Emma know? Marcus asked. About your past? She knows I used to compete. She's seen a few old medals I kept. But I don't talk about it much. I don't want her to feel like I sacrificed my dreams for her. Because I didn't. She is my dream now. Marcus thought about his own life. The trophies in his office. The certificates on the wall. The respect of his students. He'd built an empire around his identity as a martial artist. But sitting next to David, he felt small. I'm sorry, Marcus said, for what I did tonight. The way I challenged you. It was arrogant. You didn't know, David said. And honestly, it felt good to move like that again. I still practice sometimes, late at night in my garage. Just kata, just to remember. But I don't spar, don't compete. That part of my life is over. Is it, though? Marcus turned to face him. Because what I just saw, that doesn't just go away. That's not rust. That's mastery. David smiled sadly. Mastery doesn't pay for Emma's braces or her college fund. What if it could? David looked at him, questioning. Marcus felt an idea forming, something that excited him more than he'd been excited in years. What if you taught here? Not full-time, just a few classes a week. I've got students who would benefit from your expertise. And I'll be honest, watching you move, I realize I've gotten comfortable. I need someone who can challenge me too. Marcus, I can't. My job, you could do both. Teach evening classes twice a week. I'll pay you well. Better than mopping floors. David shook his head. I appreciate it, but I can't. Emma needs stability. My schedule works for her. Marcus stood up and walked to the center of the mat, thinking. Then he turned back. What if Emma trained here too? Free classes. She could work out while you teach. You both be in the same building. For the first time, David's expression shifted. Hope flickered across his face before he pushed it down. She's never shown interest in martial arts. Have you asked her? David was quiet. Look, Marcus said, walking back to the bench. I'm 68 years old. I've spent my entire life in dojos. I've met a lot of martial artists. But tonight, you reminded me what it really means to be a master. It's not about the trophies or the belt or the titles. It's about purpose, discipline, sacrifice. He sat back down next to David. You sacrificed your career for your daughter. That took more strength than winning any championship. But David, you can have both. You can be a great father and still use your gifts. Maybe that's a lesson you need to teach Emma. That you don't have to give up who you are to love someone. David's eyes were wet. I'm afraid, he admitted quietly. Afraid that if I step back into that world, even a little, I'll become who I was before. Someone who chose glory over being present. You won't, Marcus said with certainty. Because you're not that person anymore. You've learned what matters. Now you can teach from that wisdom. They sat together on that bench for a long time. Two men from different worlds, bound by the same love of an art form and the same understanding that life rarely goes the way we plan. Finally, David stood up. I need to finish my work. Emma's waiting for me at home. Think about it, Marcus said. That's all I ask. David nodded and went back to his cart. Marcus watched him work for a few minutes, then gathered his things and headed for the door. Marcus, David called out. Marcus turned. Thank you for seeing me. Marcus smiled. Thank you for reminding me what a real master looks like. 3 weeks later, Marcus was leading his advanced class through a complex combination when the door opened. David walked in, Emma beside him. She was a bright-eyed 12-year-old with her father's quiet confidence and her mother's warm smile. Sorry we're late, David said. Had to pick up our uniforms. Marcus grinned. Better late than never. Emma, welcome. Your dad tells me you want to learn. Emma nodded enthusiastically. Dad showed me some moves. It's really cool. And he said you might need help with the kids' class on Saturdays. We definitely do, Marcus confirmed. Your dad's going to be teaching our advanced class on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. We could use someone with the younger kids on weekends. As the class continued, Marcus watched David interact with the students. He taught with patience and wisdom, emphasizing character over technique, purpose over perfection. The students were captivated. During a water break, David approached Marcus. I talked to my boss at the cleaning company. Gave my notice. This being here, teaching, it feels right. Emma loves it too. She's already talking about competing someday. And you? Marcus asked. How do you feel about her competing? David smiled, genuine and warm. I feel like I can support her in a way I never supported Sarah. I can be present, cheer from the sidelines instead of being in the arena. Maybe that's my new purpose. Helping others find their path while staying true to mine. Marcus clapped him on the shoulder. You're going to make a great coach. We'll see, David laughed. I'm still learning how to balance it all. Aren't we all? The class resumed, and Marcus stepped back, watching David work with a young student who was struggling with a form. His patience was remarkable, his encouragement genuine. This was teaching at its finest. That evening, after everyone had left, Marcus and David stood in the empty dojo. The mats rolled up, the lights dimmed. You know, Marcus said, I challenged you that night thinking I'd teach you something. Turns out you taught me everything. David looked at him, curious. You taught me that real strength isn't about never falling down. It's about what you do after you fall. You taught me that success isn't measured in trophies, but in the lives we touch. And you taught me that it's never too late to find a new purpose. I think we taught each other, David replied. They bowed to each other, a sign of mutual respect. As Marcus drove home that night, he thought about the journey that had brought him here. All the competitions, the victories, the years of training. They'd been meaningful in their own way. But this, helping David find his way back, creating a space where a father and daughter could grow together, this felt like his greatest achievement. Sometimes the most important sparring matches aren't the ones we win, but the ones that teach us we still have something to learn. Sometimes a moment of arrogance becomes a moment of grace. And sometimes the person we think we're challenging ends up being the person who saves us. Marcus smiled to himself, already looking forward to tomorrow's class, to watching David teach, to seeing Emma flourish, to learning from the janitor who reminded a black belt what mastery really means. That if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories to listeners who appreciate tales of redemption, humility, and the unexpected teachers life sends our way. And we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever been humbled by someone unexpected? Share your story with our community.